So, I mean, starting now, we'll just go with the basic, that is the most important part, that is the chart of accounts. I believe everyone knows about chart of accounts. So, I'll quickly run through with the chart of accounts. I mean, as per the Indian database, the chart of accounts is divided into the following five brackets, that is asset, liability, equity, revenue, and expenditure. Usually, it is a practice that assets start from 1, liability from 2, equity from 3, revenue from 4, and expenditure from 5. But there is no hard and fast rule that this nomenclature needs to be followed. But on taking the best practices into account, this is the nomenclature that is being followed worldwide. So, I mean, out here, if you'll see, there are three types of colors that would be used in the chart of accounts. That would be more prominent if I use the edit chart of accounts. You will be able to see three kind of colors out here. One would be the blue color, one would be the black color, and one would be the light green color. Now, this blue color is my title account, that is my header account, and my black color is the account in which all the transactions would be carried on. And if I'll scroll down, I'll even see a green color. Now that green color asset would be an asset that is being mapped somewhere. I'll show you, like this is, if you see this account particular 1,30,000, that is raw materials. It is green in color, light green in color. This would indicate this account is being mapped somewhere. Now account mapping could be in multiple places, but the green color would denote that this is the account which is mapped somewhere or the other. The number of levels that we can create is being reflected out here. If I select any of the account, it will show that at what level it is being created. Usually it is a best practice we create a chart of account at the 4th or the 5th level, so that is easy for us to map the chart of accounts into the balance sheet and profit and loss reports that we'll be creating later on. Now, this is the chart of accounts. If I wanted to edit anything, like if I wanted to delete anything, or if I wanted to add anything onto this account, I'll be going with the edit chart of accounts. The bracket where I wanted to add or delete, I'll select that particular bracket. For example, let's take up the asset. If I wanted to delete any of the accounts, I'll right click the account, go to the advanced tab and delete account. Now this is how I can delete the account. Similarly, if I wanted to add any of the accounts, the same way I'll right click on the account, advanced, and if I wanted to add an account on the same level, that is, I've selected the goodwill, I wanted to add an account under the goodwill onto the same level. When I use the add account at same level, if I wanted a child account, that is, I wanted a new account to be created under the goodwill account, I'll use a sub-level account. I'll just show you, like I'm using a sub-level account. Now this account, say for example, this is 1035500. Now this account is under the goodwill account. I'll put it as test account. Now if I wanted to create any other account with the same level, I'll click on advanced and same level account. Now this would be 105, say about 600. Now see, this account would be at the same level where my goodwill account is here. So this is how I can create an account, and this is how I can delete any specific account. I would not save this. I'll click on cancel and again click on edit chart of accounts. I'll click on the asset. Now there is one more question, like some of the times what we require is we wanted this particular any of the account to be listed in any other bracket. Say for example, now this is the account 110520, which is listed under land and building. There could be a requirement that this account needs to be listed under plant and machinery or any other bracket. So for that, what will I do is, if I see at the bottom left, now there is a parent article. Now 110520 parent article is 103502, now, which is this account. From here, if I change the parent article, say 521, I'm changing it to 521. Now I'll see, if I click on update, it has already gone up. So this is how I can change the bracket. Plus I can even change the position for it. I can put it as first, I can put it as the last thing. So these are few things where I can play with the chart of accounts. Similarly, I can even make any of the account as a title account. If it is a title account, then there would be no transactions that would be carried out here. So I'll not save that account and move back. So this was a small description about chart of accounts. So another thing that I wanted to show out here was how to change the bracket for an account. Let's assume like this is the account that we wanted to change the bracket. If we drag down to my mouse, that is towards the left bottom, I can see out a parent article. The parent article is 130502 for this particular account. If I change the parent article to 1350, say 521, now the accumulated depreciation building account would move under the goodwill account. I'll just do it. See, the moment I change my parent article, my account, goodwill account, has moved under the accumulated depreciation account has moved under the goodwill account. So this is how I can change the bracket of any specific account. I can also change an account from an active account to a title account. The title account would be the header account. The moment I change the title, the color would change onto a blue color. That would indicate it is a title account, it is a header account. Any transaction thereon is not possible in that particular account. Similarly, I can even change a level. I can move an account to a level 4 account. I can move an account to a level 6 account. The maximum levels that we can drill down to is 10. But usually what we do in the normal circumstances, we create the maximum of 5 to 6 levels. But that is again depending on the requirement. The maximum that SAP promotes is the 10. So anything specific that you want to ask in this chart of accounts, or else we can move further. Okay, so moving further, now there are certain more things, like if this is the account or any of the account I want, there should be no manual transaction, that is, no journal entry should be passed. There is an option I can click on. Like this is the account where I wanted block manual posting. I can click on block manual posting. That would affect in the way that no journal entry, a manual journal entry, could be passed in this particular format. Similarly, if I wanted to delete any of the accounts, I cannot delete an account that has a transaction, but what I can do for that case is I can inactive that particular. By doing for an inactive, doing an account inactive, I'll select that account and click on account details, and a window would open up. I can click on active or inactive. If I want to make an account inactive, I can click on the inactive button, and it also specifies from which particular date range to which particular date range I want the account to be inactive. If I click on advanced, I'll be able to see it. Like the account should be active from this date to this date, then it should be inactive from this date to this date. If required, I can fill the necessary information. So anything else that you would be required to cover in this chart of accounts, or should we move forward?
We can move ahead, Manish. We don't have a question currently.
Okay. So I believe everyone is aware about the journal entry. So there is one thing that I think many of us would not be doing in a journal entry is, like in a journal entry, say for example, there could be some entries that we pass on the monthly basis. In that cases, what we can do is, there is a template type. If I click on the template type, there are two options. One is the percentage and one is the recurring posting. I'll click on the recurring posting. There would be a template. I'll click on the template. I've already created one template. This is a template that I've created. Say for example, if there is a rental income that has to be paid every month, so this is how I can do a recurring posting. Now the question is how to create a recurring template. For the creation of recurring template, under finance there is one option for recurring posting. I'll click on that recurring posting. I've already created one, and this is a test 2 I've created. Now say for example, if our rent has to be paid every month the same amount and same account debit and same account would be credited. So I can create a recurring posting. At the bottom I can even define a frequency for it. It could be monthly, it could be daily, it could be weekly, quarterly, annually. Whatever it is, I'll select that particular option and what is the date that I want. I can do it on every 7th I want, on every 8th I want, every 9th, monthly, and what is my next execution date. So going by this template, this particular entry would automatically get added onto a system on 7th of May 2020. This is how we can work with the recurring postings. So
Manish, there is a question from Alok ji. He is asking, sometimes double accounts, as in 4 business partners are open. How to deactivate the account if any entry is already done?
See, if any of the account there is a balance or any of the entries are done, that account cannot be cancelled, it would only be deactivated. You can click on chart of accounts, the account that you wanted to deactivate, select that particular account details, and click on inactive. So is it clear, sir?
Thank you.
Alok ji, is that okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions, or should with the recurring posting, any further questions?
Manish, currently no questions, we can move ahead.
Okay. We'll start with the budgeting first. So to start with the budget, whichever account we wanted to put a budget on, we'll select that particular account. We've already done budgeting on one of the accounts. Say for example, I wanted to put a budget on purchase of raw material. I'll select that particular account. I'll click on account details and I'll select the relevant budget. Relevant to budget, there is an option, I'll click on it. With the budget, there are 3 options. One is I can completely block the budget. The other one is I can get an error message, it is a warning message. The system would just give me a warning message and then it will further add it on. Now for that setting, that is under administration system initialization. general settings, budget. These are the three settings. I can either block the budget, I can either have a warning, or I can either I mean, ter- terminate the budget. I can do it for purchase order, GRPO, or for my accounting documents. The next thing would be to set up a budget. I'll click on the finance.
Uh, yeah, Manish, just 1 second. I know there are some people from NDDB team who are today there in the training. They are probably using budget, but I think some of the customers may not be using budget. So we are doing just a very basic training for budget. If there is any question that you want to ask us, please do mention in the chat box because it may be new for some of the people who are on the training, the budget setup. Sure, Manish, please go ahead.
Okay, now this is the budget setup. Out here, I can define a budget scenario. I'll define this is my main budget and this is my fiscal year. My budget would be defined out here. Like this is my main budget. Okay. This is my particular account. I can define what is my maximum debit limit or a maximum credit limit for that. Say for example, I've defined the maximum debit limit for this particular account. The moment this account reaches a value of 1000, system would stop the entries onto it. And I've made it applicable on the general entries and also on the GRPA. So I'll just quickly make a GRPA for that.
Yeah, Manish, there is a question in between from Namiji is asking, can we have an authorization for budget module? If the budget crosses the authorized ID is able to approve it. As in different people in the approval stages, everybody has a limited budget to sort of approve.
Approvals, I don't think would work on the budget part. The approval in standard would not work on the budget part.
Okay, but is that something which you can code it separately?
Definitely that could be done. With the coding it could be done. In the approval window, I don't have anything for the budget.
Okay, sure. There's one more question. Is the budget defined for financial year or it can be done monthly?
There could be a monthly budget, there could be a yearly.
So Namiji, does that answer your query or any other? Okay. Thank you, Manish. Please go ahead.
Okay. So I'll quickly make up a GRP which now the standard SAP budget is applicable only on the accounting documents. Wherever the accounts are getting affected, only there the budget would get affected. It would not get affected on the purchase order or the sales order or the purchase quotations. Just created as item. Item group. Okay. So the budget limit was 1000. I'll put the price as 3000 and I'll try to add the document. My journal entry preview would be amount exceeds the annual budget for account 13,000. So I would not be able to add the budget because I've kept the option as block. If I would have kept the option as warning, it would just give me a warning message. It is just a warning message. I'll have to close this window again. Now it is just giving me a warning that my budget is being exceeded. Do I want it to continue? If I click on continue, it will give me a prompt for my journal. So this is how the budget could be set. The same way, in the same way, we can even have a budget for my journal accounting. That is for my journal entry as well. So
Manish, there is another question which says that can the monthly budget be defined based on the percentile of sales last month?
The percentage limit would have to be defined. We'll have to calculate that. There is an option to define the percentage, but the percentage based on the sales will have to be calculated manually. I'll show it to you. If I go with my finance budget, there is an option to define my percentage, but that percentage will have to be defined manually. System would not automatically calculate the percentage based on my sales. A value would have to be put in it manually.
Okay, Namaji, does that answer your question? Oh, yeah, please go ahead.
So this was about.
Sorry, Manish, there is one more question. If the budget gets exhausted, then can we add supplementary budget,
Yes, you can.
or we need to modify the original budget amount?
We'll have to modify that particular account. Whatever amount, say 1000 gets exhausted out here, I can change it to 2000. This is how I'll be doing it. I'll have to tamper with that particular field. Budget, I'll have to tamper with that.
There's one more question. Can we get email alert report if say 90% of the budget is utilized? So basically in alerts, can you put an alert for the budgets as well?
We can do that.
At different.
That can be done. That can be done. We'll have to make a query for that. A small query wherein 90% of this value would have to be calculated and would have to be stored somewhere. The moment it reaches that particular value, system would prompt us.
Okay, Manish, there's one more question, which is then how can we track the changes made in budgets? So earlier, whatever changes that you're doing, modification here, how do we track them?
See, tracking those changes in standard is not possible, but with small tweaking out here and there, we can create some more fields in this, and all the changes that we are making out here in this field, that would automatically get reflected in the other user-defined fields that we're creating. So that would not be done in the standard, it would be some kind of a modification that we will do for that.
Okay. Deshanti, does it answer your query? Okay, Manish, maybe we can move ahead.
So this was a very small briefing about the budget module. Now should I move on to with the cost accounting? Only one thing that I wanted to add, like the ABC, there was a requirement. They wanted a budget for purchase orders and non-accounting documents. This particular thing would not be affected out here. So for that, we'll have to make a customized budget as we did for the ABC.
Yeah, that I think applies to ABC as a company.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Fair enough. Maybe we can move ahead to cost accounting.
Okay. For cost accounting, I'll go to administration, system initialization, and general settings. I'll click on the cost accounting. Out here, I have two options. The cost centers that I'll be making it. Do I want it to make in one particular column, or do I want it to make in a separate column? I'll show it to you. Right now I've selected it as a unified column, so it would come in a vertical format. I'll just show you what is the difference. Now I'll go to finance. I'll go to the cost accounting. The first thing is the dimensions. Like dimensions are, say it as the header under which I can create the cost centers. I can create a maximum of 5 dimensions in one particular company. The dimensions could be, say for example, if I wanted to create one cost centers based on location, then my location would be one dimension. If I wanted to create a cost centers based on my departments, then departments could be another dimension out here. There is a limitation that I can create only maximum of 5 dimensions. But the cost centers under those dimension, I do not have any limit for that. I can create a number of cost centers. So the first part would be creation of a dimension. I've created one dimension as a location. The next part would be creating up a cost center. I've already created one cost center as a Delhi, and I've assigned it to a location. Like I'll create one more. For example, I'll create Mumbai, and I'll put it under my dimension. It is an active and it would be effective from, I can select any particular date from which it would be active. I can even assign a date till what date I want to make this cost center active. If that is not a requirement, I can just leave it blank and I can click on add. My cost center would be created out here. The next part would be my distribution, how I wanted to distribute the cost. I've created one cost center out here. Say for example, this is my distribution rule as location, and my Delhi cost center I've attributed 70% to it. Say for example, if I'm making up an invoice of 1000, then 70% would automatically get allocated to my Delhi cost center, and remaining 30% would be to my Z cost center. That is an inbuilt cost center. That is it indicates like 30 out of the 70%. Out of the 100%, 70% would be for a cost center that I've created, and remaining 30% would go to an inbuilt cost center, that is a Z cost center. So these are the settings, and there are some more settings which we usually do while we configure the database. I'll quickly make up an invoice for that. Say for example, I'm making up an invoice. I'm putting it as 4,000, 550,000. Out here, there is a distribution rule. Now this distribution rule is my cost center. If I click on this particular thing, I'll see my location A out here. So I'll have to select Delhi. Click on update. Okay. Add the document. Continue. Row without tax was found. Select the relevant taxes. Continue. Any?
Manish, one second, there is a question from Alokji.
Uh-huh.
It's asking, can you have cost center in expense? Like separate cost center for petrol, repair of different vehicle expense, or separate cost center under traveling expense of different employees.
We can have that. I'll do that as well. For that, we'll have to create a different dimension. Like one is the location I've already created. I'll create one more dimension as an expense. I'll create a cost center. For example, it would be petrol. My dimension out here would be expense. Sorry,
I think your spelling of petrol you had added.
I've changed that. It's added now. Let me just recheck it. Cost accounting, cost centers. Petrol is okay. It's added. I'll go to the document and I'll show it to you how to assign. I'll make one more document out here. Item, I'll select the item. Under the distribution, first I'll select my location A as daily. Then under the expense, I'll select the petrol out here. So this is how I can have 5 dimensions and I can have multiple cost centers under it. So I believe I'm able to answer the question.
Alok ji, is that
How the expense will be? Can it be shown vehicle wise when you go to the report? Okay, how much petrol in that particular vehicle?
In that case, we'll have to create one dimension as a vehicle as well. Like I've created a dimension as an expense, I'll have to create a dimension as a vehicle as well. So instead
Alok
of,
ji, basically the number of criteria we put for segregation, those will allow us to essentially drill down the reports.
See, what I wanted to know was that suppose we have got 10 vehicles and the petrol of all vehicles go into vehicle expenses.
Right.
Now we enter the petrol and we put a cost center. This is for vehicle A or B or C. Can we get a report that how much petrol is being consumed by vehicle A or B?
yes, we can do that.
Thank you.
We can do that. That's we'll need to put another column for segregation out there.
Like
By week.
like we have done, I've done for one expense and one for petrol. I'll be doing it for a vehicle as well. Under vehicle, I will be making a cost center as vehicle 1, vehicle 2, vehicle
The number of vehicle,
Yeah.
name of the
Yeah,
vehicle.
name of the vehicle.
Can we have any unlimited entries into this, or there is a restriction?
See, dimensions, I can have only 5 dimensions, but the cost centers, I can have
Okay.
multiples.
Okay, thank you.
No, if you want to say, if there is a cost center, say, if there is an invoice say for 1,000 rupees and when you want to enter the invoice, you want to actually say it goes for location A for 500 and location B for another 300, location C for another 200.
Yeah, we
There is
can.
no fixed percentage. It depends on when you are entering.
No, if we will have to define a percentage for that. I mean, if it is like a percentage is not fixed defined, in that case we cannot do it.
No, say if there is an invoice which comes say for a consumable
Uh-huh.
and so we have a location, say location A 1, 2 and 3. So that consumable is meant for say location A 100%, we can do location A. But then if it is meant for partly for location A and partly for location B, because during ordering it is like one single purchase order which goes. The distribution takes place when the material comes. How do you handle that?
Sir, in standard, I mean, we will have to have a percentage with the location B and location C. If we do not have a standard percentage, then we'll have to customize that particular. It would not be possible in the standard because in standard, I mean, I need to define my standard percentage.
So Namitji, does it remain fixed for you or it changes from invoice to invoice?
So it says changes. Say plant A has a requirement of 10 pieces, plant B has a requirement of another 15 pieces. So maybe next month it is vice versa. The purchase order actually goes for 25 pieces every month, but then the distribution is different every month.
Okay, then I guess we'll have to, in the standard system, we'll have to do it manually because, anyways, it is changing every time. If it was not changing, then you could probably use a distribution tool by percentage, like Manish mentioned.
No, but we can do it manually also as of now.
We can do it
That is what I
manually.
want
We
to
can do it.
do. We can select the
Anuj ji, hi,
location
can I
and
come in?
Yeah.
This is Anup. Yeah. Actually, what we are doing is that we are having consumables as inventory item, and you can have inventory transfer voucher while shifting your consumables from one place to another.
Okay.
That way it can be done. Thank you.
Okay, Manish, the next question is, after posting entry, can I modify or update the cost center?
No, what was good. Because anything entered in an AP invoice cannot be, or any accounting document cannot be audited.
So, Rupesh ji, is that okay with you? Does that answer your question?
So you have already added one document AP invoice. I wanted to change the distribution to it as not a document.
Okay, I think we can move ahead then.
Okay, this was about the cost centers, and can we move ahead with the next topic?
Is the cost center accounting part okay with everyone? Any other questions you want to ask before we move ahead? Manish, what's the next topic you're taking there?
Any specific topic they want, or I'll move on with the general vouchers. All of us are doing general entries, but most of the people would not be using general vouchers.
अनिल जी,
Okay.
हाँ जी सर बोलिए. Yes
Yeah.
sir.
या यहाँ पे कोई एंट्री उन्होंने गलत किया तो उसको मॉडिफिकेशन करने के लिए कुछ चांसेस है या नहीं है?
सर कौन सा एंट्री की बात कर रहे हैं? कॉस्ट सेंटर.
ये कॉल सेंटर उन्होंने एक इनपुट कर दिया, देन ही मेड अ मिस्टेक, सो डॉक्यूमेंट रिमूव करना यही है या एनी चांसेस टू मॉडिफाई?
नहीं सर, एंट्री को रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा.
रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा. ओके.
इधर इनवॉइस को कैंसिल होगा या फिर क्रेडिट को बनेगा, फिर दोबारा से वो ऐड होगा. एनी अकाउंटिंग डॉक्यूमेंट जहाँ पे कोई भी अकाउंटिंग इफेक्ट है, वहाँ पे आप इस चीजों को चेंज कर सकते हैं. ठीक है सर. शुड वी मूव अहेड?
Yeah, Manish, please go.
Okay, most of us are using the journal entry, but we can have one more step before a journal entry, that is called a journal voucher. I'll open up the journal voucher. The screen would reflect almost the same as journal entry, but there is a basic difference. I'll click on a new entry. This is my same screen for my journal entry, but only difference out here would be anything that is added on to a journal voucher would not have an effect on my accounting books till I post it from a journal voucher. I'll show it to you. Like I'm using random accounts. I'm making one account as debit and the other one as credit. I'm adding it to a voucher. It has added on to a voucher, successfully completed. If I again want to see my particular entries, I'll open that particular voucher. This is my voucher. If I go on to a ledger account, this would have no impact on me. I can add multiple entries onto my general voucher till I don't post that particular entry, till I don't click on post voucher. The moment I'm clicking on a post voucher, now this would be my permanent entry. So let's assume up an example. A new accountant comes into the organization and the manager does not want to directly post into a general entry. So in that case, we can use up a general voucher where he uses the general voucher to post all the transactions. The manager checks up the transaction. If it is okay, then he can post those transactions from the general voucher to a general entry, that is a general entry. So this is how we can use our general vouchers. So any questions onto it? Any questions, or should
No, we don't have questions, Manish. We can move ahead.
Okay. Now, one more important thing that many of us come across is we wanted to make the changes and layout for say trial balance, profit and loss, or any of the transactions. For that, we'll have to go with the financial report templates. Say for example, we have to make a change in a layout of a trial balance. I'll go to finance, I'll go to my financial report templates, I'll select my profit and loss trial balance. Say for example, I'll select my trial balance. I'll name a new name for it. I'll put a new name for it. Okay. I'll click on the generate standard chart of accounts. So this is my standard layout that comes out. If I wanted to make any changes onto it, I can make it instead of land and building. Say for example, if I wanted to make it as any other thing, say land and building, instead of land I wanted to make it as land 2, I can do it. Even if I wanted to tweak with the account balances under plant and machinery, I can do that. I'll double click on this particular account. It would show me all the ledger accounts which would constitute the balance for my land and machinery. If I wanted to add any account, I can add the accounts from there. If I wanted to delete any accounts, I can delete those accounts from there. That would have a direct impact on my trial balance. Say for example, the total of this 3 accounts under land is 1000 rupees. And if I delete any of those accounts, the balance would reduce by whatever the balance was for that particular account. I'll just show you with an example. Let us try run up a trial balance and see. This is my relatively new database, so it would not have much of the transactions, but still it is run a trial balance. Now this is my, say for example, this is my one head is capitalized business expenses and costs. Now the balance is coming as 10,000. So if I wanted to see like this 10,000 is constituting how many GL accounts. So for that, I'll go to the finance posting templates. I'm sorry, finance and financial report templates. Trial balance. Sorry, no, it was a trial balance. I've already created one, test one. Generate standard chart of accounts. Out here it was what heading it was. It was my, say for example, it was my raw material. I'll search for the raw materials out here. I'll search for my raw materials out here. That particular head would be somewhere out here.
Under stocks.
Under stock, it is my raw materials. Now these are the accounts which are constituting for the raw material. If I wanted to add or delete any of the accounts, I can do it. And similarly, like this is the test account that was having 6050. So I deleted this account from there. Balance would get reduced by 6050 and updated. Swap that into it. Delete row. Date. It's updated. I'll click on this as well. Date. Okay, now I'll again run a trial balance. I'll close this window. Finance. Trial balance. Now I would have to select a template that I've created. This is the test one template that I created. I'll select the accounts. This is how the trial balance is coming 64374, and if I run with this particular account, it would come. There would be a difference. Sorry, it is not selected properly. So there is a difference between the two trial balances. This is how I can tweak with the trial balance, profit and loss, balance sheet and cash flows. So any questions onto it? Any questions or should we go ahead?
I think we could move ahead, Manish.
Okay, it was done with the trial balance. Similarly, I can do it with my profit and loss account and my balance sheet and my cash flows. I'll show you the 4 options that we can work on. This is my balance sheet, profit and loss, trial balance and my statement of cash flows. So I can even work with the cash flows as well. Now there is one thing like you all must be using the different statements like balance sheet, trial balance, profit and loss, but many of us would not be using the cash flow. We can even have a cash flow statement for that. So for that, again the first step would be to define a layout for the cash flow. The layout would have to be defined from the same financial report template. We'll have to define a cash flow. What is my template? Say this is a default template. I select that. Okay, I'll have to define new. I'll define new template. Okay. I generate the standard SMT standard. I'll update it. Now I can run a cash flow statement out here. Now to run up a cash flow statement, what I'll have to do is there would be a few more settings. Administration I'll have to go. System initialization I'll have to go. General settings I'll have to go. There would be an option for a cash flow out there. I'll click on the cash flow. Like any account that is being defined as a cash account, that value should go into a cash flow statement. I mean, there are two options. One is the optional if I wanted to move it onto a cash flow. The other one is the mandatory. If I click on the optional, it would not be mandatory to define a cash flow account for it. If I put it as optional, it would be an option. If I put it as mandatory, it would be a necessity. Let me just make up a transaction. Say for example, I'm making up a incoming or an outgoing payment. Say for example, I'm making up an incoming payment. Okay, yes, no customer is out here. Make an outgoing payment. I'll have to define this particular account. Let me just define this account, a bank account. Let me take any of the bank account as HDFC bank account. I'll put it as a cash account. Now out here there would be a primary form item. I'll have to select the relevant option, like this particular cash flow, this particular payment would appear into which particular format for my cash register. If I say like cash paid for my electricity, okay, add. Now this is added. I'll go on to the reports. Sorry, financials. Financial reports. Financials. Statement of cash flows. And this is how it would show me out here. These are my different statement of cash flows. The transactions that I've done out here is coming out here. So this is how I can work on the statement of cash flows. Anything else that we can on this particular topic? Anything else that you want me to cover, or any questions?
Hindi, I think none of us here currently on the training are using SAP HANA version for SAP Business One. But in case you were using that, the cash flow analysis is pretty dynamic, and it comes in more like a BI format out there, which can be used. So in case you do decide to ever change your database to SAP HANA, there is much more to be achieved even from the cash flow perspective and the analysis that you can do on a real-time basis. Any reports, Manish, you want to show us here right now?
See, for the cash flow, there was one statement of cash flow. There is one cash flow report. This is a cash flow report, a standard SAP cash flow report, and there was one statement of cash flow report. Then these are the two important reports that we can have it for cash flow. The balance sheet and trial balance, I believe everyone would be using it, so everyone must be aware about those reports. So anything else that you want me to cover in this particular cash flow thing, or should we move ahead?
Any queries? I'm not sure how many people are using cash flow on a daily basis in SAP, but if you are any issues that you face which you want to ask us. Okay, I guess we don't have any more questions. So thank you everyone for joining today's session then.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
We
Thank
meet,
you, Manish. Thank you, team.
thank you. We meet tomorrow again for the next training, which is on the purchase module tomorrow. Thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone.